Hi, folks. In my continuing attempts to deep dive into a collection of popular TI-99 games of the 1980s, today I'm looking at Atarisoft's Pole Position. Pole Position is, of course, based on the groundbreaking 1982 Namco arcade game of the same name. That game was licensed for international distribution by Atari, and so we get Atari Pole Position in the arcades of North America, as well as Atari home conversions for systems including Atari 8-bit, Commodore VIC-20, ZX Spectrum, Atari 5200, Commodore 64, Atari 2600, and TI-99. Non-Atari versions were also produced for Intellivision and for Vectrex. So how does the TI-99 version stack up? Well, first let's look at what a pole position port needs to bring to the table via the arcade original. You can see right away that one thing pole position brings is color. Your car is bright and colorful, the signs are bright and colorful, outside the road green and blue fill the screen, even the crashes are colorful. So we definitely want lots of color in a pole position port. We've also got a sense of speed. The red and white striping, the median line, and the signs we're passing along the way make us feel like we're racing, even on a straightaway. We've got to have speed and that sense of speed for it to be pole position. Another key aspect of the game is that twisting, turning track, which makes for a lot of dangerous cornering. Fuji Speedway was designed to challenge the driver, so we need a pole position port to give us those deadly turns. And finally, we've got a busy road filled with fellow racers whose movements make sense. They're not just moving around randomly or trying to collide with us, they're racing too. They can pass us, and passing them is the primary goal of the game. The opposing drivers definitely need to be a big part of any good conversion. So, does the TI-99 version give us all these things? Does it have color, a sense of speed, twisting turnings, Fuji Speedway with deadly corners, and a road filled with fellow drivers whose movements make sense and represent a maneuvering challenge? And how does it stack up against the competition? Well, let's take a look. Where color is concerned, I give the TI-99 version full marks. The player car is as colorful as you could ask for, and it reflects the palette of the original. Roadside signs and the other cars add their own color, and the sky and horizon are colorful as well, with Mount Fuji visible in the distance. Hills aren't normally magenta, but the TI-99 doesn't have a good brown or dark gray, so you work with what you have. Regardless, the game's palette is just more fun this way for me, so full marks. Where speed and the sense of speed is concerned, I'm a little more tentative in my approval. The lane markings and the roadside signs continue to give us a sense of motion, but the roadside red and white stripes present in most versions are just missing. You can see how in the 2600 version, for example, these are your main source of a sense of motion and speed. Now, in the 2600 version, your fellow drivers are also a yard fence of some kind, and the entire world has been paved over with asphalt. So let's not go overboard praising the graphical capabilities of the venerable 2600, but it's a very respectable treatment given the means at hand. But back to the TI-99 and my airing of grievances there. Another thing missing from the TI-99 version's representation of speed and perspective is the chase cam perspective itself. You can see how in the arcade version, perspective is fixed on the driver and the view of the road moves accordingly. While in the TI-99 version, perspective is fixed on the road and the driver moves within it. As we saw just a moment ago, the 2600 version uses a chase cam perspective with perspective fixed on the driver, and the Atari 8-bit version does as well. Makes you wonder if Atari saved the best for themselves in certain respects here. This is feeding into my conspiracy theory anyway. The VIC-20 version also has this problem, but its problems are more extensive, with no real sense of speed, and in a racing game which very prominently features tight turns, nothing you could really call cornering. So yeah, non-Atari systems may be being left out in the cold. But on that topic of cornering, does the TI-99 version feature those twists and turns the way a pole position port absolutely has to, and the way the VIC-20 version just doesn't at all? Well, yeah, turns in the track are absolutely a harrowing affair in the TI-99 version. Handling around turns feels good, and feels like it was well adapted to digital control. The extremely low rate at which enemy cars are scaled up to show proximity means that there are some frustrations, though. Around turns, cars often feel like they just come out of nowhere, but the handling itself feels really well designed, and the turns feel fast and dangerous, like they should. Finally, we've got to talk about the enemy drivers. Now, obviously, the opposing drivers here are not the fanciest graphics you've ever seen on the TI-99, but they're at least colorful, and the collision detection feels like it makes sense. It's actually a bit forgiving, with the slipping in between enemy cars without an inch to spare being relatively safe, which is good given how slowly they scale and how consequently imprecise your sense of their position on the road is. Something I really appreciate here is that the drivers do appear to be tracked to some limited extent, even off-screen, so a red driver that passes beyond your field of view into the distance will again be encountered when you catch up. That adds some realism that I like. This is not, incidentally, however, true of drivers you yourself pass. They're just obliterated from the universe. You are literally unmaking every single driver you pass. If you slow to a dead stop after passing 8 drivers, no one will pass you in turn. In defense of that problem, this isn't really a gameplay issue in actual practice, since in practice you're meant to be constantly passing other drivers rather than they're passing you. So this really is just a nitpick rather than something that impacts gameplay in real actual practice. A few final thoughts on the game's place in the TI-99 library. Is this the TI-99's classic killer racing app? Well, yes and no. In creating a sense of speed, it does all right, but the simplicity of the game's mechanics don't allow for much strategy. Top speed is the only speed you really need to worry about, and you reach it pretty immediately. Something that I like about Funware's Driving Demon is that it's always tempting me to go just a bit faster than I can safely drive. I don't get that tension and excitement of trading off safety for speed here. That tension and excitement of trading off dangerous driving for a higher score. This isn't really the fault of the port itself. The arcade original only has a high and low gear, so speed mechanics are inherently simple. But it is something that I miss if it's not there in a racing game, and it's not there for me here. Another criticism is that voice samples feature prominently in the original. And leaving out synthesized speech in a TI-99 port of a title prominently featuring speech feels like it's a pretty big oversight, consequently. It's not a huge hit to the experience, but it is a conspicuous absence that makes me ask why. So should you play TI-99 pole position? Yeah, it's a fun game, and it's too easy to lose that in the details. It's colorful, it controls well, and offers satisfying, if not particularly challenging gameplay. Though if you do want an extra challenge, the game lets you choose 2 higher difficulty settings at launch. What this does in practice is increase the rate at which opposing racers are spawned, which makes the track busier and more dangerous, but offers the tempting opportunity to reach even higher scores by passing more opponents throughout the race, with each one worth 50 points. So I'll leave you with some more TI-99 pole position racing action, advanced difficulty style. Thanks for watching.